on what's happening today. Hello, Facebook friends. Hello, YouTube. I hope everybody is happy and well this sunny Tuesday, if you're watching me in real time. Certainly sunny down here in the West Country. And our friends here on Instagram were just saying, oh, I like your purple jumpsuit. Well, there's a reason why I am wearing purple, and that is because we're going to be talking about purple berries and the benefits thereof, in particular antioxidants, antioxidant activity, some new studies. I'm going to be joined by the fabulous Dr. Evie. Oh my goodness, it's been too long since we spoke. She's brilliant. Can't wait to chat. And looking at things like Haskap berries, blueberries, you know, all of those. You've heard me talk about them. I'm just going to adjust my phone here many times. Anthocyanins and more. And there's been some new research, so it'd be lovely to hear from you. If you have a special way of working out, do you run, do you go to the gym? Let me know, pop it in the Facebook comments. We have got Lainey and Rachel behind the scenes looking at Facebook with links. Hi, Rachel, you just put a note on there. Obviously, we can't link on Instagram. Very sorry about that, not my fault. But we will pop everything on LizEarleWellbeing.com. If you want to know any of the Liz Loves deals, just go to Liz Loves. There's a whole section on Liz Earle Wellbeing. So if you want to check out some cost-saving tips, that's where you need to go to. And of course, we do have a Liz Loves with today's guest. 15% off everything at Haskap. So let us see. Blackberries, yeah, absolutely. Did you watch my live on Blackberries recently? I was picking some. And right, Haskap, Evie, you have to request to join me, I think, on here. Let me just check my notes. Yep. So Dr. Evie Kemp, she is the founder and the senior researcher, proper clinical doctor, in fact she trains other doctors from memory, of Haskap. And Haskap is something that I've talked about before. It's this extraordinary berry, the Haskap berry. And, you know, I love berries. You know, blueberries, one of the few superfoods genuinely that deserves its name. Haskap is even more potent, and we'll be hearing exactly why. And the black skin berries, so things like blackberries. I was picking the last, I think, of my blackberries. I think they've just about gone over. I did make enough to do one of the recipes, actually, that we've got in the current issue of Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine. If you have a look, I think it's on page 68, if you have your copy handy. This, we ate it at the weekend because I had most of my family home, obviously being bank holiday here in the UK, and of course we were all glued to the screen yesterday. I mean, who could not be? What pageantry, what an extraordinary moment for the country and for the royal family and for the Commonwealth and for the wider nations. I mean, just amazing, absolutely amazing. I was pretty much okay until the lone piper at the end. I have to say, that's the bit that got me. I'm actually going all goosebumpy thinking about it. But yeah, amazing, amazing how everyone came together and faultless, not a foot wrong. I mean, incredible. And those children, so well behaved. Oh, anyway. Yes, so this is what I was making for the fam yesterday. That's on this page here. 68. Stewed blackberries with yogurt and honey roast walnuts. Amazing. I actually served it as a pudding. I know it's here as a brunch or breakfast recipe, but makes a great pudding. And so those black skin berries have been shown to have so many good beneficial properties. And in fact, all berries are worth having. Even, you know, you can buy frozen ones, you know, you don't have to have expensive fresh ones. And they are lower in sugar than most other fruits. So if you want to get your fruit fix, but without massively spiking your insulin or your fructose levels, then berries are a good way to go. Yeah, the piper. Oh, okay, so Rachel, I don't know if you're in touch with Dr. Evie, but I don't have a request to join on my Instagram. So, okay, so we're just asking here whether Haskap, whether you can put it into hot water. That's an interesting question. Well, let us definitely ask Evie about that. So, what makes these berries different is if you look at the packet, you'll see that they do look a bit like blueberries, don't they? But when you cut open a blueberry, I have some in the fridge. I might go and get them in a moment. When you cut open a blueberry, you see that inside it's white, kind of clear colour. When you cut open a Haskap berry, it's dark all the way through. So you're getting double the benefit. You're getting all those anthocyanins, the antioxidants, all the goodness that comes from the polyphenols, which is the plant colour. That's why they say eat the rainbow. It's not just a clever marketing idea or a clever slogan. It's actually giving us the different polyphenols and the different nutrients that are often bound up in colour. So we've talked before about things like the polyphenols that are good for eyes that come from carotenoids, for example, carrots. So carrots, carotenoids, beta-carotene, it has that lovely yellow colour that you get in all sorts of things, mostly carrots, but things like yellow peppers and yellow-skinned chard, yellow-stemmed chard, those kind of things. So, you know, it really is about going for colourful fruits and veg, and of course dark green, leafy greens being one of the best. So let's have a look. Evie, I have you here. Excellent. So hopefully I have clicked join, because this is something so simple. And in fact, I've got 2 of my young ones heading off, empty nesting, leaving home, one going back to uni, one heading off into the working world in London. And, you know, I have put these in their bags, actually, because they both make smoothies. They've kind of grown up with that. They both make drinks. They've got their little NutriBullet blendery things to take with them so they can get the day off to a good start, and this is a really good thing. Now, Evie, I did click accept. Let's try it again. Oh, don't you love it when tech is tricky? So, Sue, my freeze-dried blueberries, I just buy them online. If you just type into your search engine, you know, freeze-dried wild blueberries, you'll get lots of options that will pop up. Hey, good. So Haskap, we have actually got you online with questions saying, yes, the anthocyanins do survive in hot water, even boiling. Isn't that great? So if you wanted to make yourself a nice hot, nourishing drink, so, you know, like a hot blackcurrant drink, but make it with Haskap, super healthy. Evie, it says you're unable to join. I wonder why that is. I'm going to try accepting you again. Sometimes, we've had this once before with a guest, and you have to kind of log out and log back in again. I know it's super boring, isn't it? Oh, you're here.
Hello.
Hi, it's so nice to see you again.
Lovely to see you again as well. Sorry, we had a little bit of trouble getting on the connection there, but great that we're now on.
I'm sorry too, but your team are obviously online as well, answering questions, which is really helpful.
Absolutely, which is great. Lovely to see you.
So I've given a little bit of background as to the extraordinary Haskap berry. Do you want to tell folks who haven't seen you here before a little bit of your background so they know that you absolutely know what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. Yes, I kind of work in 3 separate but connected fields. So I spent most of my life as an NHS consultant in a big teaching hospital in Oxford, and I'm a specialist in something called occupational medicine, which is all about how your health affects your work and how your work affects your health. And we looked after all of the staff in the hospital, the doctors and nurses, and so I've got a special interest in doctors and nurses' health and well-being. And so that's the sort of first strand. The second strand is I actually took a sabbatical after a long career in the NHS 4 years ago to do some other things, and I didn't go back. And I'm doing a lot of work now teaching and training in medical education. Wow. And I teach medical students about how to look after themselves and about something called lifestyle medicine, which is all about how we should use a lifestyle to prevent, treat, and even reverse all the chronic diseases that sadly we're seeing nowadays. And I actually teach them from day 1 of medical school.
Really?
I think it's vital that they know how to look after themselves, but also to be able to use these skills when looking after their patients.
Can't you take over the whole curriculum, Evie?
I would love to.
You know, can they not please spend the first 2 years discussing lifestyle, diet, nutrition, not only for themselves but for their future patients, and then, oh, by the way, you might like to go and look at some drugs when all else fails, maybe?
I completely agree with you. And you know, what we teach them is when they come into medical school, such basic things like, you know, how do you eat properly? How do you exercise? How do you sleep? How do you manage your relationships? How do you manage your stress?
Great that you're doing that.
So important. So that's the second thing that I'm very involved with now. And the third thing is Haskap berries. So my husband Simon and I, in a crazy moment, 12 years ago, founded a Haskap berry farm in Canada.
As you do, you know?
As you do. And, you know, it's even more bizarre than that, because we went on holiday to Nova Scotia and thought it was a wonderful place. And, you know, most people come back with a small souvenir from their holiday, and we came back with a farm. So, you know, what can I tell you? And Simon's been particularly involved in running that farm over the years, but it became more and more difficult, and we now have a wonderful farm manager, particularly during, obviously, lockdown and COVID and so on. So we have a wonderful farm manager called Cynthia. And I've become very involved in Haskap berry research, and I wanted to really understand the nutrition behind the berry and to be able to produce a product that retained that nutrition that you can eat basically all year round.
So this is really special stuff, isn't it? This comes from your farm in Canada, and it's just organic powdered Haskap. That's it. The berries.
So we bring berries from our farm, which is an all-natural farm, but we haven't actually gone fully organic on our farm. But we knew that there were people who really wanted a fully organic product. So we've been searching round for other farms, and we go visit, and we found very special farms that we've selected, both in Canada and in Europe now, because our farm just doesn't produce enough yet.
Wow, because the demand.
Just come back from an amazing trip visiting farms. Yeah, look at that colour.
The colour is amazing, and you just need the smallest bit. I mean, I use kind of that much in my yoghurt. The whole yoghurt turns bright purple. I love it. Brella, my younger daughter, whose colour theme is purple, obviously thinks it's the most amazing thing. She lives on this stuff. And it has a great taste, and it's just doing so much good. What is it doing? I mean, we know that it's got a lot of vitamin C, that it's got antioxidants in it, but why Haskap?
Why Haskap? Well, it's all about the colour, as I think you said right at the beginning. I'm going to just show this picture where at the top you can see that's a blueberry, which is blue on the outside and greeny white on the inside.
I'm just going to get a blueberry so that our friends on Facebook can see.
Yeah, and there's a Haskap berry, and the Haskap berry's got this double purple-blue skin, and it's crimson all the way through.
Oh, okay, so Facebook folks, this is my...
It's your blueberry.
That's my blueberry.
Yeah, you can
and
see
you can
the
see,
colour.
it's white inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely purple skin, but it's white.
It's white inside,
Haskap berry, all the way through is dark purple.
All the way through. It's kind of, and it's also got that
really
double
dark
skin. Yeah, it's got double skin.
Yes, okay, so...
as well. So that's one of the reasons why it's so special, and it's got 3 times more antioxidants than blueberries, 4 times more anthocyanins than blueberries, and anthocyanins is this fancy name for the red, blue, and purple colours that the pigments in fruit and vegetables. So it's got 4 times, and it's all, as you saw, it's all about the colour. It's also they're very high in vitamin C as well. So we think they're very special berries, and we're very excited about them.
Very special. They actually sound unique in their nutritional composition. I've been doing a lot of research recently on the so-called superfoods, and you know, the same old favourites come up time and time again, things like watercress and broccoli and blueberries. But you know, if this is 4 times richer in the anthocyanins than blueberries, I mean, that's just astonishing.
No, we do think they're very special, and they've got this lovely backstory as well, which is that they grow in all the cold forest regions, and that's probably why they're so tough and hardy. They've got to manage to, you know, withstand the freezing wastes of the cold forest areas. And it's thought that they originated in Siberia and were carried by birds over to Hokkaido, the northern Japanese island, where they were known and loved by the indigenous people there called the Ainu. And the Ainu used them in traditional medicine, and they knew them as the berry of long life. And that's one of the reasons I started getting so excited about them and started looking at the research. And we've also been commissioning research as well about the berries. And I'm very keen to tell you about our new research.
Yes, tell us about the research, because you know me, it's very much evidence-based, everything that we do here at Earle Wellbeing. I'm not to say that everything has to have a randomised clinical controlled trial, but it certainly helps. And so what is the research that's gone on since we last spoke?
Yes, well, we've done some research with Professor Glyn Howatson at Northumbria University looking at Haskap berries and exercise endurance in runners. And I spent a lot of time with Glyn and his team planning the study and talking about the study. But once they got started, I promise you, me and Haskap had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right.
It's a completely independent study. And it was published in February earlier this year in a paper in a magazine in a journal called Nutrients.
Oh yeah, I know.
Basically, what they were very interested in these berries because they have antioxidant capacity, they're anti-inflammatory, but they also affect our blood vessels. And what they do is they increase a molecule called nitric oxide, and nitric oxide looks after the endothelium, which is the inside of our blood vessels. And raising nitric oxide leads to dilation of blood vessels, which leads to increased blood flow, oxygen and nutrient delivery. And we think this is one of the important mechanisms by which they act. So Glyn and his team were very excited because all three of those issues are important. You know, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory and the vascular system are all important when you start looking at exercise endurance. So
and nitric oxide being key, and you know, beetroot juice, you know, historically having been something that runners would take before marathons and things, I think for a similar reason.
Absolutely. Well, one of the great things about Haskap berries is, I may be biased, but I think they taste much better than beetroot juice, and probably have a similar. I think probably have a similar effect. But anyway, what he did was he took his athletes, he divided them into two groups. And he was looking at them running on a treadmill in the laboratory.
Okay.
And he was looking at them just running generally, running as fast and as far as they could till they couldn't run any further. That's called the maximum test.
Right.
And also doing a 5-kilometre time trial equivalent. So that's like a park run. We wanted to do research on the sort of run that lots of people do or are trying to do. So, you know, doing a 5-kilometre park run maybe on a Sunday morning. So what he did was he divided them into two groups, and one group got 6 grams of Haskap powder in yogurt every day for 6 days, and that's just 2 teaspoons equivalent.
Okay.
And then on the 7th day, they took the same amount in yogurt 2 hours before they exercised, and then he looked at them doing all those different exercise tests on the treadmill. And the control group did exactly the same, but they had a placebo. And what was really exciting was he showed that the group that took the Haskap berries, that took Haskap, they ran faster and they ran longer, and they were more efficient in the way that they managed their oxygen and their oxygen consumption. And so to put that into sort of more meaning, particularly regarding the 5-kilometre running trial, he found that they actually ran faster. So they ran 0.25 kilometres per hour faster, which ended up meaning that they did that 5-kilometre run 21 seconds faster as well.
That's quite significant.
And he said that equates to about a 2% improvement in exercise endurance. And that might not sound a lot, but to athletes, for most runners, that's actually you know, a lot. And people were excited to do that sort of improvement in their running. You're a runner, aren't you, Liz, if I remember correctly?
Oh my goodness, to say that I'm a runner is bigging up my part hugely. I occasionally go out for a bit of a gentle. I can do a 5K, and I did a fast mile on my treadmill. I've got a little treadmill here at home for when it is pouring with rain, and I enjoy it actually. I like the therapeutic aspect of getting outside, and although I think my running is possibly quite slow, it's more like a very fast walk. But I'm going to be trying that. So if you want to then improve your exercise endurance, leaving aside the massive health benefits, obviously, Would you take it before you do some exercise?
Yes, I mean, what we'd suggest is you take some every day. And
So you
normally
build
I'd say
up.
you sort of build up. But they only took it for a week to show that improvement. So, you kind of carry on, you can carry on.
Gosh, that was all after 1 week.
Only after 1 week that they showed that improvement. So they didn't take it for very long. And that was, we often say take 1 to 2 teaspoons a day. And that was taking the two teaspoons a day.
Can we make a smoothie while we're chatting? Because I know a lot of people are thinking, I've not tried this. Yes, I might pop some in some yogurt or whatever, but I find that smoothies in the morning are just such a great thing. They're great for me, they're great for my kids. They, you can use them, have one at lunchtime instead of lunch if you want to pack it with good things. What would you suggest? Because I've got here, my team said, right, get some yogurt, some bananas, you've got the Haskap berry.
Absolutely. So we've come up with a runner's smoothie, especially for you and everybody else who's watching.
Thank you.
And it is 1 banana.
Okay, so I'm actually going to start. I'm going to do it here.
Brilliant. Okay.
So I have my
1 banana.
fair trade bananas,
Yes, that's
obviously.
got some carbohydrate and potassium. Bananas are full of all sorts of goodies.
Yep, love a banana. I
And
always
then-
put an extra one in Kit's smoothie, actually, because he does quite a lot of gym, and I think it's important to keep that potassium topped up.
Definitely.
Okay, so banana.
Banana, great. 2 teaspoons of powder, pepperberry powder.
2 teaspoons of powder. And I've noticed, actually, you've gone up in the world because this was my original powder, and now it's got organic written on it.
Well, yeah, we've got both of them still, Liz, actually. So
Excellent.
We've got the original and we've got organic, depending on what people want to buy. And the original is from an all-natural farm, but the organic has got that official stamp
Certification,
on, which is very
I know.
important.
I mean, I've been there, I've walked that path as an organic farmer, and I know, when we had the certification, we could stamp all our produce as organic, and then when we didn't have the certification, we couldn't, but the farming was exactly the same.
Exactly.
We didn't change it. We were still regenerative farming, low input, no pesticides, all of that. So I think if you trust your supplier, you know where it's coming from, you trust the people have integrity like you to produce the best thing.
Absolutely.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my powder in there.
Lovely. Then we want 120 mils of yogurt. Either Greek yogurt, or it could, of course, be plant-based yogurt if that's what somebody would prefer.
I have got, so 120 ml, that's about 3 tablespoons, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that would be good.
This is a local one to me that I've just discovered. I often make mine, but it's been a bit of a busy, mad old time. And it says on here, this is from the Dorset Dairy Company. It says, Dorset's answer to Greek yogurt. So there we are.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, it's
and
a good
then
one.
200 mils of almond milk, if you've got any almond milk there.
I do. I don't normally have almond milk. I would normally use real milk.
Okay, that would be fine.
But that
too.
would be fine, is it? I mean, I have got almond milk. I think this is possibly one of the least worst, although it has got seed oil in it, sunflower oil, which I don't particularly like. But let us do it. Let's do it with the almond milk. And how much would you say of this almond milk?
200 mils, something like
About
that.
200 ml. Okay, so.
Yeah, it's just under a cup. Yeah.
Okay, great. That is in there. So that's all.
And then whiz it up. You could put a bit of ice in too if you like, but just,
yes.
whiz that up.
I did have some ice. One moment. To chill it would be very nice. Okay, I've got a couple of ice cubes that are going in here.
Lovely.
So I've got a little hand blender, and I'm just going to hope it doesn't go everywhere. I'm going to do it slightly out of vision. Where are we? Turbocharge. I'm going to pop a tea towel over the top, just in case. You are going to love the colour of this. Look at that. That is just amazing.
And that's just 2 teaspoons. That's and what does it taste like? That's the other important thing.
Really good. Really good. The mix, I mean, I'm a big yoghurt fan anyway, for gut health and protein and all of that. But the mix with the banana and the Haskap, amazing. Oh, I can see Sue, she said, I use soya milk and kefir. Great.
That would be lovely.
I'm going to add, I've got kefir. I'm going to add a splash of kefir into that. Absolutely delicious. And that is giving me so much nutrition. Lorraine Palmer, she's saying, I use frozen bananas. I do exactly the same because I find that all my bananas ripen at the same time. And then you've got a load that are going to go soft and too mushy to use. But if you freeze them, I actually break mine in half and then freeze them. Take the skins off and just freeze them in halves. That's enough. And then, of course, you wouldn't need your ice, would you?
Absolutely, yes.
Something else that I love that you're doing now is you've got these beautiful jars, these beautiful dark jars to keep it in. So do you recommend that we actually put the powder in the jars?
We do, and actually if you subscribe you get a free jar after the 3rd month of subscription. That's what we do to people to subscribe.
Love that.
It's a very special glass. It's a violet Italian glass that protects the anthocyanins and the powder inside and stops it going off, and you also can screw the top on very carefully. So we do recommend that you keep, I mean it keeps fine in the pouch as well, but you've got to be very careful that you close the pouch up properly every time. And with the jar, again, you've got to...
it does have a seal here at the top.
Yeah. For sure.
And there is a name, isn't there, for this very special medicinal glass, violet glass?
It's called
Mirin.
Mirin, yes.
Mirin. Because I've bought interesting powders and things like bentonite clay from naturopathic websites in Germany. And they say we supply them in this special glass to protect them. So amazing that you've included that. I've never seen that before.
Yes. So that's we give that if people subscribe, you get that for free. You can buy it as well on the website.
Yeah.
We give it free too. So
and just to remind everybody, we do have the Liz Loves discount code, don't we?
Absolutely. We have a 15% special offer.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm so thrilled that we could have this catch-up, Evie, and it's amazing that your research is ongoing and continuing to prove the benefits of this amazing berry. You know, as I send my middle kids back to uni and out into the world, and obviously look after my older ones and my younger one, and myself, to find easy ways like this, you know, 1 or 2 teaspoons of an amazing berry powder in whatever way you like it, is so delicious and so easy and so proven and trusted. I love this.
That's great. Well, there's a lot more research coming out about anthocyanins. You know, as you know, we can't officially make any health claims yet. Yeah. But there was, and when I talked to you a year and a half ago, I talked a lot about the population studies, you know, and there's some great studies out there showing, you know, associations between having a diet higher in anthocyanin and reducing the risk of developing heart problems, brain problems, you know, and so on. But actually, there's more and more clinical research coming out now. And I wanted to just tell you that there was a fantastic review published last year, actually looking at all the clinical research on anthocyanins as well. There were 18 studies looking at cognition, all showing improvements in memory in people that have a higher anthocyanin diet. And there were 22 clinical studies, proper clinical studies, looking at our hearts, our cardiovascular system, also showing improvements in, you know, how flexible your blood vessels are, and this idea that they can, you know, dilate with anthocyanins, and that can obviously help blood flow everywhere and help maybe reduce the risk of having blood pressure problems and so on. So that's really exciting as well.
I'm going to be getting some for my parents. I don't know if my mum's watching. She often does watch. They're both in their mid-80s. And I've been gradually, you know, sneaking in over the last few years with various, you know, vitamin supplements and all sorts of healthy things and ideas for eating and exercise that's easy to do in older age. And they are definitely getting this. And my dad's got quite a sweet tooth, so I think actually he would really enjoy this as like a mid-morning smoothie.
Yes. Well, the great thing is obviously it's just 100% freeze-dried berry. There's no added sugar at all in it.
Right.
And in fact, you know, even you know, 1 teaspoon's only got sort of 1 gram of natural, just over 1 gram of natural fruit sugar in it. So you're hardly having any sugar at all. And again, I'll just remind you, we did the first clinical study we did was actually looking at cognition in older adults with, and that was using Haskap berries. And we did just a tiny piece of research, but you've got to start somewhere, published in the European Journal of Nutrition, and that showed improvements in memory using Haskap berries and some improvements in blood pressure, but very early, small pilot study, but a great first step anyway in trying to prove that they are very special berries.
Very special. And your website, everyone's asking for the website, please.
It's www.haskapa, Haskapa, haskapa.com.
There you go. It's probably coming out backwards on my screen, but Haskapa. So the Haskap berry, but with an A on the end. Haskapa. And you guys, you're on social media, aren't you? So people can ask questions.
Absolutely, yes. And anyone can email me. I'm evie@haskapa.com if anybody's got... any particular questions, they're very welcome to contact me directly.
Evie, Evie, at haskapa.com. Dr. Evie, thank you so much. I hope to see you in real life. I want to come to your farm in Canada.
We'd love you to come. We'd love you to come to the farm in Canada.
I'll add it onto my list. Take you up on that one day.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for being with us. Loved it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Great
Bye-bye.
chat. Bye-bye now. You're going to have to click off, otherwise I potentially click everybody else. Wasn't that a fantastic reminder? You know, seriously, as I send my kids back to uni and off to London, I have genuinely this weekend been going through my cupboards thinking, right, okay, there's the NutriBullet from uni last year. Here's the powder that you need to add for a bit of protein. Here are your vitamins, and yeah, here we go. Abigail says, my son eats it off the spoon. Brilliant. Love, love, love. And Mum, if you're watching, you know what's coming. That's just about it for today. Just to say, last chance, if you are loving, as I am loving, the 3 More Inches range from Michael Van Clark. Oh my goodness, thicker, fuller hair. You've got UV protective shampoo, conditioner, even travel size is great if you're going away. This is amazing, the Deep Sleep Lifesaver. I've been using this overnight because my hair's got quite a lot of colour in it. It's quite dry. Obviously, as I get older, it seems to get drier. Love it. Smells of lavender, so it actually helps you sleep as well. And this is amazing stuff, the thicker, quicker blow-dry lotion. Love it, love it, love it. Michael, you are a genius. I love you and your team. Love your products. But sadly, the Liz Loves discount is ending at the end of September. Currently 15% off with Liz Loves. So if you want to restock, this is a bit of a warning, or you'd like to give it a go and see just how much you love it before the discount disappears. And then lastly, lots and lots of you talking about stories. The Parfum stories, number 1 and number 2, and the amazing conversation that we had with the founder. Wasn't that just so extraordinary, talking about scent and fragrance and emotion and mood? Well, this is the one. In fact, I'm going to give myself a liberal spritz. I am at home at the moment, so I have got my big bottles. Just love number 1. And I have also been doing what many of you have been doing and telling me about, and that's mixing number 1 and number 2 together to get number 3. So there you go. So if you get both of those, you end up actually with 3 fragrances, because you can put them both together. And I also have the little travel body wash and body lotion. I'm actually using the hand and body lotion as a hand cream at the moment. Love the smell. I love it when you find a scent that you really like as a fragrance, and then you can actually layer it, you know, with hand cream and body cream and all the rest of it. Anyway, that is about it for today. I will be back with you live tomorrow. Yes, because we missed a few last week for obvious reasons. So tomorrow I'm going to be joined by one of my favourite fitness guests, Zana Morris. Eat fat, lose weight. What is not to love about Zana? She'll be talking about all the supplements that can help, about the importance of creatine. We'll be talking about muscle mass, what exercise we need to do, what actually we can skip because it doesn't actually do anything. So really interesting conversation. Can't wait to be chatting to you tomorrow, Zana, at 12:30 live. Or later on Catch Up. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for all your comments and messages, and look forward to seeing you again, hopefully tomorrow. And of course, there'll be another Instagram Live on Thursday as well. So busy week this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thank you so much for being with me. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.